No, everybody, I am not sick. That's when I told Brandon to mute his microphone, and he did not do that. So you got to hear Brandon coughing and got to hear his chair squealing around.
You didn't
So we're
tell me to
back.
mute
I
it.
said mute your microphone.
It didn't come across on my end,
You
otherwise
know,
I
I'm
would have.
pretty certain it'll be on the video.
It may be on the video, but on my end, I didn't hear you say anything. It was
Oh,
just dead
well,
silence.
that's what was said. That's what was
All
said,
right.
Brandon.
Hi,
So,
everybody.
yeah, we're back, right? Hey, how y'all doing? It's classic. Classic Brandon. I know Brandon's not sick. He's just Brandon. Yeah, yeah.
It's all the dust and wind here in Arizona. It just gets in your nose, and then the rest of the day you spend just blah.
So, other than that, it's gonna be one of those people that gets a hold of this video and goes, "Man, this guy's a real asshole." Like, I should comment and let him know because I don't think he realizes that. How did you get
Sometimes it
this?
just things
Huh?
just don't go through on the Skype or something
Mm-hmm.
happens, and it just always
Mm-hmm.
that's my luck of the draw.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
The problem is I have two monitors, and when I draw, I have to lift the Cintiq up so it blocks the other monitor. The other monitor has all the sound controls because it's the way it works out. I can't have the Windows taskbar on my touch screen.
Right.
And so sometimes when I have this all set up, I forget about it and go, oh, you know what? I'll just tell Brandon to mute the mic. And it does. It's a 50-50 shot. It's not the first time, folks. If you dig far enough in the archives, you'll experience this.
When you tell me to shut up, I shut up.
Mm,
If I don't hear it because
mm,
it didn't go through, then I just keep making my noises.
mm.
My fat guy breathing and my chair creaking.
Yeah. This I know.
What you working on, Rob?
Final Fantasy IX, Brandon. What system
Awesome.
was this on?
This was on PlayStation.
What year? Ah, shit.
Final Fantasy IX was 1999.
That's closer to 2000, but close enough.
Come on, man. Give me. That's pretty good.
Came out the same year as PlayStation 2. So that's 2000. 99 was a Dreamcast year. 98 was Final Fantasy 8.
Yeah, that's close.
Did you own a PlayStation 1 Mini? Did you get one of those?
I don't think so.
Came
Mine
out
was
the
just
same
the
time as
regular
that.
one, I think.
Yeah. They did a big push on the Mini and in this game.
Speaking of games, which I'm sure you've talked about this, but not with me, have you seen the trailer for or all the footage for the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite?
Yeah, I don't give a shit. It looks like a PlayStation 3 game with an Unreal Engine like lighting in the background and giant
Yeah.
bloom effects. Looks like dog shit. I don't understand why this game and uh, Injustice, like, well, first off, Injustice just has the worst art direction of any game I've ever seen, next to Mortal Kombat 3, which coincidentally also headed up by the same guy. Like, I don't understand art. Like, if in the world where everybody, all the comic book fans complain about Liefeld and shoulder pads, how does the new 52 and Jim Lee's metallic costume thing get a pass? Why does Superman have a metallic costume? And the worst egregious like offender of this fucking thing are the Injustice games where like his shield what takes up his entire chest and he's all metallic. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone looks like they're sculpted out of creepy clay and shit. Like it's just I don't know, man. Like I just looks so ugly. Looks so dark and dank and just looks like Unreal Engine 3 circa 2009. You know, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Guilty Gear Xrd has the demo coming out, another demo for their updated version on PS4 this week. So if you have one of those systems, you can play a really good fighting game that
I
also
definitely.
looks beautiful. It is what Marvel vs. Capcom should look like, not this generic stank fest. Just fucking cheap CG looking models. No
Yeah.
sense of artistic style to it whatsoever. They all just look like those airbrushed renders of the characters you get on your lunch boxes. Not
Right.
actually drawn by anybody, just super airbrushed. You know, basically
Yeah.
represents 90% of all the art that's being produced at Marvel right now that I just don't give a shit about. Not all, but a
Good chunk.
good fucking chunk of it. They should have
It
made the
just.
game. They should have made the art look like John Boy. Like cross
Yeah.
between John Boy and throw in some fucking Full Metal style in there or some shit. I don't know. It's something fucking artistic.
Right.
God damn. That's what I used to love about the Capcom games. You know what I mean? Like had that whole
I mean,
cool anime look and shit.
right. I mean, they could go back. I mean, they can make it 2D, but also have the 3D environments, background,
Bro, Guilty
particles.
Gear Xrd.
Right.
Like
I mean, but it's just so generic looking. It's just there's no fun to it, and every character, every guy in the game, from what I saw, looks like the same character with a different skin on them. Like
well, that's
they're
classic
all
Street Fighter. I'm not gonna get into all that. It just looks generic. That's it. At the end of the day, to me, it's not what I used to love about Capcom games. It's them trying to appeal to the Western market, you know, whatever the fuck that means. And it might as well just be a game being made at EA, you know.
right.
Honestly, I just don't get the point. So it's not a game for Rob, not a game for me. So they don't get my money, and you know what they also don't get? They don't get my YouTube views. I don't watch it. I see little clips on Twitter, and that's it. Like the gifs and shit. I
Hmm.
don't give them my YouTube views. I don't even give them the 3 cents on the fucking video play. You know.
I watched one video today, and one was enough.
I like how Injustice Batman he's all green because kryptonite to fight Superman. And I'm like, but what about the Flash? What does that green have anything to fucking do with? Like I don't know, man. He should just be wearing the fucking Miller armor or maybe the fucking suit from the comics, the Capullo Appleseed
Right.
suit or some shit. Like
Right.
fucking something. But I don't like it. I'm the only guy who fucking. It's funny because everyone goes, "Oh, Injustice is great," until I start complaining about it. Then some people go, man, it's actually. And I'm not a fucking I'm pretty lenient with video games. It's not so bad. There's enjoyment. A lot of my favorite games are games that are usually rated a 7. But where I
Mm.
draw the line, right, is when games go backwards and okay, Arkham Knight. There's a lot I like about the game, but the fucking Batmobile controls like shit, and the fucking costume design is atrocious compared to the first two games.
Hmm.
Nightwing being the biggest. You see what Nightwing looks like in that game.
Yeah, that face mask. Oh, it's just horrible. It
He
looks like
looks
a
like the. He looks like
bad
he
pro
should. He
wrestler.
belongs. Well, he looks like he belongs in the. Maybe remember when they were doing that Wonder Woman TV show with Adrian Palicki?
Yeah.
Like David Kelly was producing that, and she had this costume that. I mean, God bless that fucking actress for putting that shit on. You know what I mean? Because that's the most embarrassing outfit ever committed. I mean, that and Steel. But he looks like he
Or
belongs in that universe.
or the JLA TV movie that they had. That's what it reminds me of
Yeah.
too. That those
Only the cheap Spencer's version of that fucking. It's worse. I just not only when they go backwards. There's no excuse from AAA studios with AAA licenses for poor art direction. You know, they go this generic route because they think it's going to appeal to a wider audience, and they need to stop. If they want to make a wider audience game, don't make a fucking fighting game. There's nothing mass audience about a fighting game. Make Marvel carts. You know what I'm saying? Make Marvel fucking basketball. 3-on-3 Marvel Universe Beatball, Marvel Jam. Do 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 do. It's a Marvel Jam, right? You can get the Doom Patrol, get the Doctor Dooms out there, get the X-Men fucking basketball team. You know, some stupid fucking shit like that. Make a Marvel superhero, Marvel vs. Capcom, the first-person shooter. You know, there's just nothing. It's like trying to make a mass-market wrestling game. Like you're missing the fucking point. You know, it's not
Yeah.
designed to be. It's a goddamn fucking fighting game, man. You know, it's a niche fucking market. It's kind of like, you know, when an indie game tries to. Yeah, how about this? You ever see someone go to a Mega Man Soccer? Hey, look, Mario Strikers is a great, fun game, but you know what I mean.
Hmm.
You know, it's a mass market, goofy game, dude. You know? But they put their effort in when it comes to fucking Brawl, you know, or Smash Up, Smash
Right.
Bros, or whatever. They put their effort in there. Anyways, where was I going? So you ever see, like, when someone decides to make their own comic and they try really hard to pretend like it's a legitimate comic? You know, they try to make it look like it could be from Marvel or DC. It's fully airbrushed. It's got all these logos, but there's just something not right about it. You know, like it just doesn't quite sit well. The Photoshop rendering is just a little generic. The logo is just a little not right. Things aren't sized a little properly. Feels kind of hollow, like it's trying to be something it isn't. Versus just, you know, like a difference between, like, you know, you see some of those people on MasterChef and they try to pretend to be a chef versus just putting the plate on the food and it looking delicious. Just they're
Yeah.
just trying to dress up this shit. And it reminds me of like when EA did get the Marvel license. Remember when EA made this fighting game? It's fucking horrible. And it was like what was it called? It was this fucking fighting game, dude, made by the Chicago studios. So bad. And they try to create some new characters to go in there. That's the worst, man. You know, they try to create their own characters too.
Hmm.
So there's nothing for me in this Marvel versus Capcom game. Nothing. I don't even feel good talking shit about it because so what? You know? You know? Like I don't get any. I used to love Marvel versus Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Marvel Superheroes is still my favorite, you know, because I like that it was just Marvel and it was focused around the Infinity. That's how I came to know what the Infinity Stones were. Like I'd always seen the comics, like Infinity
Uh-huh.
Gauntlet and Infinity War, but I was like, I'm not buying that shit. You know, cause I didn't care. I read books like Bone and Image Comics and shit like that and Cerebus, but when the Marvel Superheroes came out, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. You collect the gems and then you could power up and you become fucking badass and you fight Thanos. Like that. That made sense to me. Um, and the Marvel vs. Capcom games were fun, but they felt a little bit more button clicky than I would like. But I'm in the minority on that one. But they were fucking dope. I own the Dreamcast versions. You know, I own the Dreamcast ASCII pad from Japan. You know, I was hardcore into that shit, man. Yeah, Nemesis: Rise of the Imperfects. Yeah, Marvel Nemesis: Rise of the Imperfects. It's like every
Oh, I didn't. If you would have
stupid.
said it was a Marvel game, I would.
That's what I'm
Wait, you're
saying. It was
saying the
EA
EA
made, you
one?
know, EA made a Marvel fighting game back
Right. No,
like
I
10 years
remember. They
ago.
turned it. They had a comic book tie-in with it
Yeah,
too.
Rise of the Imperfects. It just sounds like a modern generic fucking Hollywood ripoff movie. Like when
Right.
someone says it's going to be their version of Marvel's shared universe, it's the Imperfects. Rise of the Imperfects, you know?
I thought you were talking. They made like a separate one, like just
No, they just made a
new
fighting game that
character.
fucking sucked.
Right, and they had Jay Lee do a lot of the character design shit too, like
This
at least for
guy
the comic book
that used to
stuff.
be at Double Fine.
Uh,
He's in the documentary I have your wife watching. He was there for a while. He's since moved on, but he worked at that. He did it. There's an interview somewhere he did on the site about having worked on that game, and he's like, "Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing, you know." But it was amazing because we got to do all this cool stuff, but no one liked it, you know.
I think I rented it. I don't remember.
It was not good. It was not a good game, and that's what I just associate with Marvel licensed products. The last good Marvel game I enjoyed, man, was that X-Men game Raven Software made. They made this X-Men Legends or whatever it's called. And the
All
main
right.
game was alright. Mostly looked like the Ultimates, but it had these cool legacy missions where you could play like as the 80s X-Men. It was kind of Diablo-like, the play control. So I enjoyed that. But Raven Software, they didn't make it. That's how it works. I remember when we got a hold of Iron Man 2, the video game at Play. I mean, Game Fan. It was at Play, but really Game Fan. And boy, that was fun to watch. It's so ridiculously bad. It's kind of like, did you ever play the Super Mario Returns game?
Oh yeah.
Whoo, boy. Yeah. Talk about imperfect. Rise of the Imperfects. Can we get the Inhumans? Nope. But we can make up our own characters called the Imperfects. Oh. Sounds like the Malibu version or the Valiant version of the X-Men. The Imperfects. Yeah. See, because they see humans as perfection and God's creation, and mutants are imperfect. So these people are imperfects. I'm like, I get it. I get what you're doing there. I just don't fucking care. You know? I don't give a shit about your clever writing. You know? But just take away all the flashy effects in that Marvel vs. Capcom 5 trailer. They're calling it Infinite, but it's 5 or 4. Sorry, 4. Take away that Marvel vs. Capcom. Take away all the lighting effects. Just look at the models. It's a fucking Unreal Engine 3 game. You know, they just ported over their shitty fucking assets into Unreal Engine 4, threw as much glossy lighting effects as they could fucking fathom. You
Just
know,
like Injustice 2. Oh my
just
god,
like
that looked
Injustice. Look how
bad.
ugly that game. Like when the Swamp Thing was I was like, is it? It looks like melted ice cream man. It's so bad, dude. Like, it's scary looking. You know, like I'm like, what is everyone all excited about? I mean, we have the capability of putting leaves on him. You know, like it's quite possible. You know,
It takes too much work, Rob.
it takes some effort, Brandon. That's the problem. But I've never been a fan of, was it Boone, Ed Boone, whatever, fucking Mortal Kombat. I've never been a fan of their art direction. The only Mortal Kombat game I ever thought looked good was Mortal Kombat 2. That's it. It had an aesthetic that reminded me of somewhere between Big Trouble in Little China and Terminator 2. You know, those like purples with the orange glows and the molten lava, the rain clouds. Like I had
Hmm.
that nailed down. After that, it was all downhill. Like the first game looked like shit, but I didn't mind because it was supposed to be a B thing. Second game looked better, and everything downhill was all techno or fucking, how many skulls and grit can we? Remember that Marvel versus D? No, is it Mortal Kombat versus DC game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was stupid. People like that, and I was like, I don't like it. I don't, I don't like it. As Cartman would say, I don't give a fuck about whales, so go and hug a tree. You know. Not to say I don't like realistic looking games. This isn't it. The Uncharted games are beautiful. This this is horrible. It's horrible. So my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will arrive tomorrow from Amazon. It's worth waiting. You know, if you pre-order those things, even like the last day,
Hmm.
you get like fucking $13 off a game. So
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna use that before they get rid of it. You know. So when we're out there in Vegas, we'll fucking throw down some Mario Kart.
We live it up in Vegas, people.
I'm a fucking nerd, man. I'm a real geek. You know, I'm not fake geekish. You know, go, we go to Vegas, gonna play some video games. Yeah, that's how I roll. I'm gonna get some decent
That's
Chinese food, maybe some decent
pretty much
barbecue. I'm
right.
not
That's
gonna go
pretty
to.
much all
I'm not going to Brandon's
gambling out there
fucking.
is.
Not going to Brandon's weird
I'll go
place that has
without
the
you.
mechanical buffalo and neon signs.
I'll go without you. That's fine.
So horrible. You go pick up a nice cougar.
Hell yeah.
That's about. uh-huh.
Cowgirl, a cougar.
Uh-huh. Gonna go hang out at Raisins.
What's raisin? Does that mean? Is it like slang for saggy boobs?
uh,
I don't know what raisins is. Is that like an old strip club out there?
hey, you can look it up.
Alright, I'll just let's see. Yeah. Krista was all bummed that I won't be able to share a room with her this time, you know, because usually we share rooms, so we split the carpool and gas money up to Vegas. And I was like, well, you could split the carpool with me. It's just you can't stay in the room with me because I'm sharing it with Rob. And then she's like, oh, well, can you drop me off at Bree's? And you know Bree. And I'm like, no. She can come get you from the hotel. She's like, well, she lives only 15 minutes from there. I'm like, first off, nothing in Vegas is 15 minutes residential. Like, your apartment isn't 15 minutes away. It's like 20, 25. Plus, that's 25 there, 25 back. I'm like, so I'm driving an extra hour almost to drop you off? I was like, fuck no.
She can come pick her up, so at least.
Well, she's like, oh, she might have to work Friday. I'm like, I don't care. Uber, taxi. There's shit ton of taxis.
Tell her
I was
husband to
like,
come pick you. Oh. Shit. Forgot about that.
yeah. So I was
My
like,
bad, dog. My bad.
I'm
We
not.
good. We good.
That's fine.
Kiss, kiss.
I was like, I'm not driving an extra fucking 30,
Good.
40,
Is you a
50
hobby?
minutes in Vegas.
I get your argument.
I'm like,
She
no.
can just fucking Uber, man. Just take an Uber.
That's what I said. I was like, I am not budging on that because after driving the 5-6 hours to get there, I'm not going to drive an extra 40 minutes. Fuck that.
Yeah. Plenty of Uber and Lyft out in Vegas.
And I don't mind saying that on the cast because
She can
I
find
might
one with the
have.
female driver. She'll be safe, you know.
Be like, unless if you want to pay for all the gas the whole trip there, then yeah, I'll drive an extra 30 minutes. You fill up the gas there and back, sure. Saves me $80, $100, whatever it is. I'm a nice guy, except for when it comes to my time. Like, I got a set schedule. Now that I've been doing stuff with you so much, it's like, nope, this is my time limit. I go to work. I have a small window of time to either go to the gym, play volleyball, or eat. And
You see
then
why I don't fuck around when I come out there. I sit down to work and you're playing video games, and I'm like, what are you doing?
one
What are you
time
doing?
you came after I worked
What do
all day
you, what
long
do
and I
you,
sat down.
yeah, you just see me
You'll
setting
never
up
let
to
it
work
go.
here. No, you see me
Never
setting
let it
up to
go.
work. I got everything. I told you what we were going to do when I got there. Setting up, and you're just busting out the video games.
I was sitting down while you were doing all your shit,
I
getting
mean,
all
you knew
set
your
up.
shit wasn't prepared. You knew.
We were up all night anyway, so I had time.
Did we get our money back from that canceled con? Yeah, but I had to have Brandon go have a. He had to go pull the. He had to pull the trigger, right? He had to go do the command talk, right?
Yeah, I had to go to the top of the food chain,
Yep.
and that got done. It got done real quick after that. I take care of things. I may not always get my shit done, but when Rob tells me to do something, I get it done. Brandon, go get our tables for next year. Brandon, do that. I'm like, all right, I'm on it. I get it done. I'm just not good at managing my own life. Okay.
Because Brandon's willing to accept the consequences of not managing his own life. Consequences of not getting the shit I asked to get done are far more dire. Because you all know, folks, I'm going to be doing this whether people watch or not. For as long as YouTube's up, I'll be here. And I can make making fun of Brandon a nightly thing for the next 20 years. I can be a whole generation of artists that grew up going, where's Make a Potato? Ha 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 ha, you know, like, it'll happen. Brandon will be 60 and they'll be like, you're that dude, ha ha ha. I'll make a comic called Make a Potato. Be a whole thing. Because as someone so eloquently posted in the comment section on the YouTube channel, it must be draining to be my friend. Yes. Yes, it is. You don't even know the half of it. Okay. Where's my... The wife took the scissors. She does that. She keeps taking it. I'll take that off later because it'll rip the back if I... All right. Let's get this character done. Yeah, this is when I let it print too light on the page. I knew there was a reason why I didn't enjoy drawing this one. It's because I printed the lines a little too light. Kind of defeats the purpose.
What do you think you put the transparency at?
It really wasn't. It was the ink sets at the time.
Ah.
I didn't think it'd be a big deal. I'm like, well, I can see them, but I'd rather not be doing what I'm doing right now. So... I only like to work at this kind of low opacity when it's like something blocked in, like this big spaceship. Later, Hector.
Later.
No such thing as bad publicity. Yeah, ask Bill O'Reilly. Ask Bill Cosby. Ask Donald Trump. How that's working out for him. Ask Penn State.
Right. That college is forever cursed.
How about all the hundreds of people around the state that just happen to have the last name Sandusky? You know, no relation, just, you know? It's kind of like that weight loss program in the 80s. It was really big. It was called AIDS.
For real?
Yeah, go look it up. It was really popular. It really worked too. Like, it's like basically a precursor to like Atkins bars and stuff, you know, protein bars and things. But it really worked. People, you know, but it was called AIDS. They even have commercials for it, like AIDS helped my life, you know, really helped me. And you're just like, then AIDS hit. That was the end of it. Read an article with the guy that was in charge of all that. He was like, that was just a dark fucking day, man.
Did they change their name or anything? Like,
To what?
I don't know. Just
They were
hey,
AIDS.
we'll switch our name.
what the formerly known as AIDS, you know? Like, I don't know. No, it didn't work out for him.
That's bad. There's no. That's probably one of the worst names for a company to have. It just turn
Yeah.
on you like that.
And one day, you know. It'd be like if you had a candy bar named Nutsy, and then Adolf Hitler came around, you know? And it was pronounced like, you know, N-U-T-Z-I or something. And it just, you know, you're done. You're out. Life intervened. I mean, what if this, like what is that, bath salts, right?
Uh-huh.
They're driving people crazy, making people eat each other's faces. What if some crazy bath salt craze hits and they called it like Lucky Charms, you know? I mean, they're done. You know, like they just happen to eat off like a leprechaun's face or something. You know, like oh, so I was watching that Rick and Morty thing. They're talking about they had signed up a deal with Subway for
Uh-huh.
Morty to be the next Jared right before the Jared shit hit. You see this whole commercial campaign. Is good Morty's gonna be I'm the next Jared, you know, like and literally like within weeks the Jared shitstorm went down. And I was like, man, that would have been crazy.
Yeah. That they definitely got lucky with that one.
Oh, that cartoon would survive it though, but you know. Hey, so you know, you'll see in the queue, there's a couple of videos from the stuff I'm working on
Uh-huh.
with the GI Joe and everything. Those can't be posted until like August, so
Right.
don't be posting any of that stuff.
I'm still. You got so much backlog that.
I know, but you could be in a
No, I won't. I get you.
stupor one night. They're all going to come out within 3 months. I think they're shipping 2 a month.
When they do, I'll release them then, so it like times it up with them. So that way, it's all being, I guess, tagged and. What did I? What's the difference?
Well, the first two covers, I'm just gonna make 4 times speed videos,
Huh.
whatever those turn out to be, and put those up or something. Because uploading 12-hour long fucking videos into YouTube is hit or miss. Unless I stream it, I'm not gonna sit here and leave it streaming, and people are like, I can't talk to Rob. You know. I might be able to do that where it just streams and I'm here doing something else. Then they'll be like, can you show me something? I'm like, I can't, this is a video.
My inking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's so frustrating.
Just exposing all your weaknesses.
It's so fucking frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Everything you thought you were good at, you're not.
Like it's funny because like I'm not good, but I can grab the pencil, grab the lead holder. I go over these lines nice and smooth, and I'm like, yeah, I'm following along, and it's like, you know, it's not so bad. And then I pick up the ink pen, and I'm like, did what the fuck? Did I just have a seizure? It's like the shit was nice and smooth with the pencil. What happened? But then this one problem that's pissing me off. Like I'll start a line and I'm going down it, and I'm like, okay, stop, and then I just don't stop. It's like, oh, I missed my exit. That was great.
Well, now you see where those line practices I've been trying to make you do.
Yup.
I'm like, wonder what that does. Just Rob trying to make me do some shit. Doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, you should go back and watch this movie called Karate Kid.
I'm not a big Jaden Smith fan.
That's the Kung Fu Kid. It really was called Kung Fu Kid, and they just changed it at the last second. They don't. Why would they use karate in fucking China? It's ridiculous. It's Japanese fucking. Doesn't even make any sense.
Movies don't have to be logical, Rob, to enjoy them.
Yeah, they do. You know. Can't be called World War II and take place during like fucking the Civil War. You know.
Well, I mean, according to Trump.
No, let's not even get into all this bullshit. I'm not doing it, Brandon.
I know, I'm just joking.
It's gonna turn into Twitter in here, you know. I'm gonna have some fucking crazy person come in here yelling at me one way or the other, like I care, like I care, you know. I can't even get Marvel versus Capcom to make a artistic looking video game. Like I can do one fucking thing in the world with politics, you know. Like I make. It's kind of like every now and then someone tries to ask me to donate artwork to their charity drive. To which, you know, I'm like, first off, I'm nobody. My artwork isn't netting you any money. You know? I'm like, second of all, you know, you got to do more for a charity, in my opinion, than just go around asking a bunch of nothing artists to give you the bunch of art. You know what I mean? Like, it
Right.
seems kind of like, it felt bad. Like, Ashley went through something recently with that. She's like, well, I feel bad. I'm like, Ashley, if you were raising money for leukemia, would you ask me for a bunch of free art? She was like, no, I would go and, right, you'd go and create something. You know, you want to ask Greg Capullo to help out with that. I get it. You know what I mean? He can make a difference. Tom McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, fucking Gail Simone, whatever. I mean, she's a writer, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know as many female. The problem is the more of the mainstream female artists are they're the main two, right? Like Marvel, DC, like Gotham Academy girl. I don't know. I don't read modern books. Tried to the other day, by the way. Tried to go into the store and buy something. I hated it. Just hated it. You know. This is nightmare. It's the print quality on the books, you know?
Uh-huh.
I just can't stand how poorly the books feel. Indie books feel great, but the books coming out of the mainstream just feel like total dog shit. It's like I tried to, the last time I did this was when they did the New 52 and they had that Justice League relaunch. I'm like, I'll go buy Jim Lee's Justice League. And I walked in there, picked up the comic, and it felt, I mean, it felt lighter than air. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, and it was polybagged with a digital code inside. The polybag was not for goods like a poster or a Jim Lee poster or a Justice League map. It was like, there's a digital code. I'm like, you fucking dicks, you know? How about this? I'll just go steal it, you know? I buy comics. I buy French comics. I can't read any of them. But the storytelling's so good, I don't really need to read the words. I buy Radiant. I buy anything. I buy a lot of stuff from Ankama. You know, I buy their stuff. I was telling her, I'm like, you know, Ashley can't, you know, she's like, I can't, I'm really trying to like pay your fucking electricity bill? Like, it isn't your job. Like, whatever charity they're trying to do, man, that's for them to raise money. Not for artists to go around and support their fucking bullshit dream. And I just find a lot of it to be disingenuous. You know, some people out there are trying to help and make a difference, and I get it, you know, and I applaud that. But there's a lot of artists out there too, man, that try to, they can't produce an idea of their own, and they can't get paid to do anything. So then they go, I'm going to do this for charity. And I'm just like, after 9/11, I just don't trust a lot of this for charity shit. You know, because like I gave a lot of money, like Red Cross, a bunch of places, and then none of that money went to the surviving victims of 9/11. None of it. You know? None of it. So I'm like, okay, so GoFundMe's I'll directly fucking do. You know? When I know that's going directly to somebody. But donating my fucking 40 hours of effort to help someone solve leukemia is not. I can't make a difference. I can't. I'll draw the kid a picture if that'll help. You know what I mean? Make the kid feel better, but I can't. I don't know what to do, man. It's an Elon Musk problem, as far as I'm concerned. Let Will Smith fucking help out. Remember Dooms 4? You can go make all that bullshit. Like, let Rob Liefeld help. And poor people like Ashley are afraid to talk about it because they're like, well, the backlash on the internet. If what they, I'm unsympathetic to dying children. Are you fucking kidding me? You know, breaks my goddamn fucking heart when I see a kid suffering. What I don't understand is why do I have to sit here and work for? I don't. What can I possibly do? I can barely raise money to pay my own fucking bills. How am I going to help the kid out?
Right.
See, then you just put artists in a position of feeling shitty. You know, like they're not doing enough. I can't. I gotta tell you guys, I've probably been hit by these charity things several times in the last year, which is pretty big considering, you know, I'm not known, right?
Right.
So how many people, who else are they hitting up? You know, and it's kind of like I have a person I considered a friend once, you know, and like they have a charity now, this person. And I'm like baffled. I'm like, so when this person has a charity, like a 501c, right? I'm like, there has to be a big scam somewhere in all this, you know, like catch us on the next scam. It's like Bart Simpson gets a 501c, you know, like
Is 501c a chair?
yeah, it's nonprofit.
Gotcha.
It's like nonprofit. You and I start a church.
Shows how much I know.
Yeah, you want to help donate some art for the? No, I don't want to help donate some fucking art. You know, like it's tough, bad enough. I mean, like, I have my charities I donate to. You know, cash money, but not my time. My time's a little bit more valuable than the money. Unless I can physically help. Want me to go help feed kids? That I'm up for. You know. It's kind of like, you know, when you got a friend.
I mean, you've given free prints, but
bro, I help people every fucking day. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I'm giving free advice every fucking day, dude. With portfolios, artists, I help. I give back to the community. I pay it more forward than a lot of these fucking artists you see on YouTube that are way more famous than me because those guys, I believe, aren't helping a lot of people. They just aren't. They think you think you're getting helped, right? But you're really not. It's kind of like I got this book once, back in 2003 and 4. It was the graphic designer's book of whatever, and it was all this book was filled with tons of fucking like contracts and, you know, if you're going to be a graphic designer, if you're going to be a freelance artist, you got to use this book, and this will help you. And so I'm like, all right, I'll get this. This will help me. So I got my first free big contract job, doing all this storyboard work and character design stuff for this scuba company, right? They wanted some
Uh-huh.
characters and they wanted to do some commercials, and I sent one of these contracts over, and the fucking legal representation for the scuba company was like, we will not be signing that. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like they were like,
I
huh?
I think I bought the same book for Jessica a couple years ago.
It's
Like the
it's completely stupid because here's the thing: when someone's paying you, they'll send you a contract. You don't send them a contract.
right.
You know, you could send an invoice. Can't send a contract. Remain the rights to hold all this. You all own shit, motherfucker. You know, they're not gonna fucking sign shit. They're paying you. So I'm sitting here, right? And Joe remembers this, and I learned my lesson. I tried it with a few people, and the book didn't get me very far. So I ended up, when I worked in an art department, I gave away all my, like most of my books. Just kept the ones I wanted, purged it, put them all in the art department. This is one of them. First day, one of the new kids goes, "Oh, this is gonna be great," you know. I was like, "Ha ha, have fun, kid." You know, that ain't gonna work out too well. We got a friend that recently got laid off from this department. No, he still works there, but they sent him home to work, you know. So
Mhm.
he's making far less money. And he picked that. I got this book. It's gonna totally help me up my game. And then Joe was like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Oh, is this?" And Joe was like, "Oh shit. So you know that's we tried that." He's like, "No, man. A lot of this has been really recommended by a lot of professionals." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care who recommended it. Just give it a shot. Like I'm telling you, put it into practice. You know." If you got a point where you need that kind of fucking help, contracts and shit, you get an agent. That's what an agent is for. Like, think about this. You know, why doesn't fucking Jeremy Renner just go get that big book of contracts? You know what I mean? And just submit one of those contracts anytime he does work. Because it's fucking ridiculous. You know? And so you know, and I got this advice once, and it actually is quite truthful. No company will ever pay you enough to successfully sue them.
That's good advice.
Just keep it in mind when you start going into contracts, you know. If it's work for hire, you're never going to own it. This is why they don't create new characters at Marvel. Because every artist knows, don't make one all they got to do is walk into Walmart and see why you wouldn't want to make one, you know, go look at the Venom and the Deadpool. Why you wouldn't want to make one fucking character for these companies. You know? So they just iterate on the current characters. And everyone goes, well, it'd be great to create some new characters. Except no artist wants to fuck. That's it. No artist, no writer, nobody wants to not get paid for that. So it's a problem for these companies, you know?
Yeah.
They got all these artists saying, here, I use Clip Studio Paint. It's very important. So much better than Photoshop. I'm like, that's great. I'm great. Glad you feel that way. Now go walk into our department and tell the IT guy to install Clip Studio Paint on your computer. You know what they're gonna say? Fuck you. End of story. So long as you're always gonna work from home and only use the software that you know conjure up and you appreciate, that's great. Except when you go into now most people will never go to a real world situation, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm out the game. So now it doesn't matter what I use. I can use Manga Studio, I can use Blender, I can use whatever the fuck I want to use. I couldn't get them to install Painter back in 2004 and 5, you know?
Right.
Painter was pretty well known. They're like, no, we use Photoshop. If you can't use it, you're out of job. You know, we're not training you. You should have known that when you got hired. So, you know, I learned how to do everything with it. Getting a company to pay for programs is the least of your fucking problems. Like, in my experience, if they hire artists, just try to get them to buy water. I had this company once that didn't want to fork out for fucking filtered water. You know, like they got a sink, quote unquote, dog. You know, it's in a
Yeah.
ritzy part of town too. It wasn't like a cheap. It was in the place where Nixon retired, San Clemente. You know, right on the beach. I'm constantly questioning how much art info I should share beyond like how I'm solving problems.
Right.
Because the minute I make a video on how to do something, there's always going to be some dissenting fucking opinion I don't want to hear. You know?
Of course. Of course.
Like, someone was asking me today to do a video on drawing faces. I'm like, how about I just draw something and when I get to the face part, you just pay attention? Like, I don't know. I'm afraid to how to draw. How could I possibly make one video that's going to cover how to draw faces? What could one video? I don't know. So you have to think about it. Try to be positive. Like, what are some entry level things you could do? Like, ooh, you could draw a circle, right? And then you draw a circle, and then you grid here, and you put the grid. Look, you draw the grid there. I'm trying to figure out what can I say that hasn't already been said
Right.
better than I can say it. Then you put the nose shape here, but oh look, that's a flat nose. So what you really want to do is you want to redraw that shape. Then you want to draw it three-dimensionally, like this. I mean, that's a fat face, you know? Then we could draw a skinny face. Now, you're not going to get paid any money to draw these kinds of faces at Marvel and DC. So these faces won't even help you. Can't draw these. You don't see these kinds of faces on modern comics. My recommendation is be the next Greg Land. Go take a bunch of photographs of models, trace over them, turn your artwork in on time or early, and get paid. I always like it when you can tell where the photo came from too. He used this one that was from Stan Winston. From Stan Winston, big special effects guy, passed away a few years ago. He cast his own face as the Wolfman when they did Monster Squad. So Greg Land did some fucking cover with the Wolf guy on there, and he just used it was Stan Winston. I'm like, that's Stan Winston. Stan Winston's Wolfman from Monster Squad. You know, I don't think you can't just trace over a photo from a movie and make money off that. You kind of don't own that image, but
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how he gets away with it. You know? Shepard Fairey used that photograph of Obama back in the day. Remember the Hope poster?
Hmm.
Well, he came from a photograph that Shepard did not own. Lost millions of dollars for that. Didn't much matter to Shepard Fairey because he's got millions, but
Right. Well, I don't think it phased him. It's like, oh, okay.
So I think maybe if I did a video, it'd have to be more like ways you could approach a subject matter. Take a character and play with shape. It had to be based around shape design. I just couldn't see. Here's where you put the nose, and here's how you construct ears. What kind of ear? For who? How is there one universal ear?
Right.
You know? Then I don't know. So I'm following your ear tutorial, and I don't understand. I'm gonna be like, well, you need to work on your construction perspective. But how do I apply construction and perspective to drawing ears? That's the one I get the most too. Like, how do I apply construction and perspective to figure drawing? To which I have to take a step back and say, did you just say that out loud? Because I don't think you said it the way I'm hearing it.
Right.
Like just say it out loud. Because when I say it, it sounds ridiculous. But you'd be quite surprised, Brandon. People that I like, people that hang out often have asked me that. I see it's all well and good, but how does that apply toward? I mean, 9/10 of this fucking game, dude, is all mental. It's like all changing the way your mind sees things. When one
Mm.
day you see things one way, the next day you see them another. You're altering your mind, and I know it's a fact because, like I said, there was that guy I was watching. Some dude, man, fucking, it was like a frat guy or whatever. Always had a good time. Jumped in a pool, fucking around. In the shallow end, hit his head. Should have died, or become a quadriplegic like every other fucking numbnut who does that. Instead, this guy gets the magical fucking ability to play the piano better than Beethoven. Never played the piano before. Just fucking like he's a world class pianist now. Just flows right from him. Hit his head somewhere in there. Boonk. Instant art
Right.
powers, right? And I'm like, fucking this guy, right? This fucking dude. He's like, I know it's true now. Anyone can be an artist. So I'm like, no, man. Not anyone can be an artist. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
most of us have to absolutely fucking train our brains, and fucking work really hard at it. You get to fart around, hit your fucking head in a pool. You know what I mean? You get magical fucking art abilities, and I'm supposed to fucking what? Be happy for you, dick. You dick. Like I just want to Bill and Ted him. So if you're getting headaches from trying to figure out something artistically, it's because you're actually developing, you're working that muscle in there, right? You're actually developing new creative neural pathways. I think it hurts, you know. Now we could all jump in the shallow end. SketchCraft tells everyone to jump in the shallow end of the pool to get fucking better at art, like that. Well, it's not what I'm saying. She could roll the dice, you know. So, Brandon, that's always an option for you. If you're ever looking for a quick way to. If you just got something really useless, like what if you got really good at playing the accordion or something? You know what I mean? It wasn't even a good instrument.
Right.
Like, what's that scrub board? The scrub board. Like you could play the jug better than anybody now.
Ugh.
Who? Like once I understood construction and perspective, drawing faces wasn't hard. Just a matter of placing objects, three-dimensional objects on top of other three-dimensional objects. It really doesn't require more. There isn't any more trick to it than anything else. You just look at a face. Okay, I know noses and eyes go here, and those become shapes, and you place the shapes on top of other shapes.
Exactly.
But the problem is, right? People want to see instant result. They want to see improvement fairly quick. So all these tutorials are mostly designed around people seeing improvement as quick as possible. To which I say, go learn to fucking do something else. Like if you want to get good really fast, find something else. You know, or just trace over photos. Become a nice Mondo t-shirt, Mondo poster guy. Right? Just vectorize a million of your photos. Spend forever stippling a face, shade for shade, and make everything look super real. Just look at photos and copy them. But it's not going to help you when you're tasked with drawing something that you can't take a photograph of. Like an X-Wing battle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine there's no Star Wars and you have to paint an X-Wing battle.
Right.
With a giant fucking space monster ripping through and all this shit going on. Like, so that drawing from photos thing, although great for anatomy, was never like something I could use to help me because I was like, well, I want to draw things that don't exist. So how do you go around that path?
Right.
So as far as I'm concerned, there's only one answer to that. It's construction and perspective. In terms of drawing, you want to paint, you got to add light in the way of rendering form from light. But it needs to be done over three-dimensional surfaces. So we're right back full circle. There's no way around it, as far as I'm concerned. I just don't see a way around it. Anyone conjures up something to me, it's just some half-assed measure, and eventually you're gonna roll back into a position where you're gonna need to know. Well, just use a 3D program. Okay, what happens if you're there in a room with the client and they want to see something now? What do you sketch? Tell them you're gonna go get your. Hold on, I'll go get my fucking iPad. I'll load up these 3D models and maneuver them. Like just fucking spend your free time learning how to draw. If you focus on the fundamentals, you'll get done. You'll get there sooner than you will half-ass it. Honestly, like how many years did you half-ass it, Brandon? If you had just fucking done the things you're supposed to do from the beginning.
Too many.
Yeah, if you just done what you're supposed to do, even when I first started telling you to do it, you'd be much further along. It's called the long shortcut. Sometimes a process takes a certain amount of time. There is no way around it. And if you try to find a way around it, you're just gonna come right back around to having to start over from the beginning. So take the long shortcut. It means do it the hard way, the right way the first time. I mean, the best you can. I mean, got to be realistic too. We're not all going to be fucking Hayao Miyazaki, or Frank Frazetta, or whatever. Pick your artist.
Right.
We're all going to have limits. It's like I remember when I first started streaming, this guy was like, my grandma can draw faster than you. I'm like, but you can't. You know? But you can't. That's my other favorite thing. Haters love to do, talk about what their friends are up to.
Right.
They to tell you how well their friends are doing, and they ain't doing shit. My favorite is the Patreon thing, man. Like when artists like to go, I'm thinking about doing a Patreon. I.e., I'm thinking about creating something where you pay me money every month because you don't have enough of those bills. What should I do? Like no conviction, you know? Like no. Here's what I want to do with my life, you know? Like I want you. You guys need to give me money and direction. It's wonderful. I'm
Yes.
so interested in this fucking thing, this passion. I'm so passionate about this. I don't have one fucking clue as to what I should do with it. One idea, but you should give me money. What kinds of things would you like to see?
I do not agree or disagree with this. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
Yeah,
I spend on a Patreon monthly, folks, so I can complain. You know this, Brandon? I contribute.
I do know. I do know. I do know.
I contribute
I know which
to passenger
you've
seat
been
radio.
you've been following and donating to this guy
Shane
for
R. Monroe. I've been listening to
10
Shane R.
years.
Monroe. No, longer, since 1999.
I thought you.
No, I've been
Yeah.
listening to him since Retro Gaming Radio, 1999. He's out in your neck of the woods. And so I just help because Shane's fucking awesome. Yeah, like one of those few guys that makes me laugh. Like he makes me laugh. He's got good stories. He's always been there. You know, I like Shane, so I contribute. I don't care if Shane does one. Just Shane could just keep doing what Shane's doing. I'll just contribute. I don't need extra rewards and shit. But these artists, man, like they don't have one fucking. They don't even like. I'm doing this thing. Da 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 da. Like the Patreon thing makes more sense, in my opinion, for like I guess in lieu of maybe a tip jar if you're doing a webcomic or something, or game development makes a lot of sense, right? If you want to sort of piecemeal some game development, especially in the early phases where you probably wouldn't want to go to Kickstarter when you're that early with the game
Mm,
because you don't know how it's going to turn out. But there's so it just has a cap, like I sort of feel like those things encourage certain kinds of art, like mostly porn or softcore porn. Like if you draw a lot of busty chicks on sketch covers, you could probably do pretty well. You know, if you have a passion project, you're better off giving it away for free, building a fan base, and then collecting it, and printing it through Kickstarter or something. But the Patreon thing just to me, it's like a veiled threat. When people are like, "You should do Patreon, man. People would, I'd give you money right now." I'm like, "Well, here's a PayPal link. Just give me money.
right.
How about that? Here, just right now. Here, if this link is good, at any time you want to use it, PayPal.me/sketchcraft/ any amount. Type in a number, and you can give me that amount of money anytime you want. I always send people, here's a link for $10. You can send me $10 right now. Otherwise, wait till I put shit in the store, which stuff will be up this week. I'll finally get back to that. But it just feels like they're like, they kind of just want instant reward, you know? Well, I'm passionate about this, but if you guys want me to keep doing it, I have to see some money from it. I'm like, then you don't give a fuck, you know? Kyle's like, I just realized I haven't paid into a Patreon. He hasn't posted a single thing in this year. Whoa, shit. That's kind of crazy. Shane's on all the time. And now since I changed, he goes through Spreaker now, so I show up in there as SketchCraft. First it was my name, but no one knows how to say my name, so I went SketchCraft. So no one was talking on there, so I started chatting with them, and now everyone chats in there. So he knows me as SketchCraft. Oh, SketchCraft. I'm like, yeah. Apparently there's a fucking big arcade convention out there this weekend in your neck of the woods at the Mesa Convention Center called ZapCon. I didn't even know about this. Shane was down there. Looks fucking amazing. I'm definitely going to want to do that next year. I want to go to ZapCon.
Let me see here.
Yeah, ZapCon looked fucking awesome. He was taking ZapCon, yeah. ZAP.
Let me see if it's the one I went to last year that sucked at the Mesa Convention Center. I don't know if you're right about this because I went to one last year.
Nope, ZapCon.
Let's see.
I'm not saying it looked amazing, like it was a life change, but they had a good selection. Cabinets looked to be in great order.
Oh, so it's just all arcade games.
Yeah, it's arcade games, bro.
Okay.
It's not really your thing.
Well, you made it sound like when you said we should go, like a con, like get a table.
No, not get a table. I want to go as a fan.
Okay.
You don't have to go. I said, I'm going. Me, maybe my wife, you know. Like, it's the kind of shit that I get a kick out of.
Hey, you said me first, okay? You said me first.
Hear what you want to hear. Me first is Brandon's mantra.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't get the Patreon.
Okay. I was gonna say, I think with that, like that guy, where it's like the same stuff that he freely posts on YouTube. Maybe he's just saying, "Hey, if you maybe donation wise, kind of thing," where it's like, "Well, you can get my content for free, but any donations help." Go towards maybe art
Here's
supply.
the thing, man. Here's the thing. If your shit's available all the fucking time, people will be like, I'll get it later.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Until you reach a certain point of fame or notoriety where you're like, I should always have shit available all the time. So I try to put these little windows. Here's things now. They're not going to be there. They go out. When's they're going to be back? Whenever. You know? And then I bring stuff back in. Then you got folks like Sarah Jean as people giving her money traveling for photo shoots. Hey, man, but that's what that stuff's for, you know? It's like, it's for different things. For artists, I don't know how it's supposed to work. You know, you're going to get access to what? I did the digibooks on Kickstarter. That's how I'll do digibooks again. I'm not going to have a digibooks Patreon because you know why? I don't want to harass everyone every day of every year to go to my Patreon. When I got a Kickstarter up for 2 weeks, hey, so you know it's going to be up for 2 weeks. If you want to get in on it, I'm going to have all this cool content, and then that's it. So you don't have to hear. We hang out, right? We all can hang out, and you don't have to hear me. I feel like, you know, you ever see that scene in Airplane where the pilot's just trying to get to the airplane, and there's all these fucking guys trying to hand him pamphlets and flowers and fucking, he's just punching dudes out, you know, just trying to get to the goddamn fucking plane.
Yeah.
Because they used to let everyone and their fucking mother go in the airport and panhandle to you, basically, you know? Back in the 70s and 80s. But it just feels like I mean, you can only... Humans, look, man, we have very short limits for panhandling, you know? And that's what it feels like. You know, and if I wanted to take a trip and want to chronicle my life and I want to go, then great, but that's not me, man. You know? I don't subscribe to that. It's not my thing. I think a lot of people appreciate that I don't do that. You know who never did that, folks? And this is the thing I follow. Howard Stern. You know what you can't get? You can't get Howard Stern the coffee mug. You can't get Howard Stern the action figure. You can't get Howard Stern the T-shirt. You don't see Howard Stern T-shirts anywhere because he knew that that would be a short-term gain that would fucking piss off his audience eventually. You know, the Bill O'Reilly mug, the fucking Rush Limbaugh. Like he rails on that stuff. It's ridiculous. Now, if he makes a movie or a book, you know, you go make something, you promote it, you give it its time to shine, and then it passes on. That to me, that's the long-term game.
Yeah.
We don't know if Patreon's going to last more than 5 years. People might be like, I don't know if that's it. You know, crowdfunding will work on some level, so there's that. You know, thank God, because that solves my not having to work with fucking publishers every day of my life problem. But monthly fees, folks, I'm very aware that people have only so much money to give every month, you know, and it should not be going to me, you know. Kickback to me at some point. I will greatly appreciate it. Now, the one that drives me crazy too is when people say they only buy things from people at cons. You ever see that one?
Yeah.
They're like, I only buy Miss Howard's her name. Well, she was something else. Uh, when they're like, I only buy books at cons, I'm like, well, then you're never gonna buy anything from me, you know, like, because I can never guarantee I'll be at a con ever again. I mean, we'll go to this con in Vegas, but I can't guarantee I'll be back next year. I don't know,
Right.
you know. What if they go, hey Brandon, it's gonna be $600 for that table? How much were they charging for the Phoenix Con tables this year? Artist Alley.
Uh, um, no,
It
400.
was 400 something. So tell them the story, right? Because tell them how we got out of con, the whole thing.
About the Phoenix Con?
Yeah.
Okay, well, first off, the fucking con was horribly run. We got put in the back.
But I started around
Back
2010,
or
and you and I teamed up about a year or two after that, right?
that was your downfall. Yeah, we got a booth and we were right by the entrance. That was nice. And then when solo, I kept getting moved further and further to the back behind karaoke machines and replica lightsabers. So that was fun. And romance novels. I don't know what the fuck they were selling. Some dragon romance books. And then they started blocking the Wi-Fi. Then they started hassling us about having our tax ID, which we did have, and I had to prove that multiple times. Then they wanted to jack the price up like an extra $100 for the following year because they'll have more celebrities, which will not be on the same floor. It'll be on a different floor. So that means when people are waiting hours to get photographs, they're not on the floor. And so it just became too much of a hassle and too much money. They wanted, like I said, like almost $400 for an artist alley table. Meanwhile, Amazing Con, which focuses on actual comic book artists and creators, are charging like $150 a table, so we can get two tables.
That's what an
for
artist
less than
alley
the
should be,
cost.
150. And they should pick from the litter. They should go, okay, this is this person, submit samples, submit websites, and they can pick the kind of talent pool they want to have in there. Not this fucking, it's a swap meet is what they turn into, where anyone can get a table at a swap meet, right? And swap meet tables ain't cheap, bro, so. But yeah, so we get out of there, and then this year, a friend gets a hold of you because she's ended up being friends with someone that works there. So explain that story.
Oh, so yeah, my wife happened to be at her day job, and someone said she was talking about nerdy stuff. Like she saw them playing tabletop games on lunch, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't know you guys were in this." She goes, "Oh yeah, I'm the new director of the Phoenix Con. They fired everybody, and they had to rehire people, so I do that now." And so my wife's like, "Oh, it's awesome." My wife tells her all about our bad experience, and she goes, "Oh well, I can't get you an artist alley table this year, but we have booths available, which were like $975 for a booth."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, we'll pass on that." And then she offered to I don't know if it was to get us an artist alley table next year, or put us on the list. I don't remember exactly. I'd have to check with the wife, but it was still like that's $400 plus everything that we'd spend a lot just for an artist alley table, the prep, booth,
Yeah,
everything.
I don't need the trouble. You know,
Yeah.
I don't need the trouble. Don't need the trouble. So. I'm not a very good artist alley guy, you know. I don't have 10 million prints. And I'm not, you know, I actually care about the content of the shit I draw. I'm not there to fucking pretend. Yeah, the blowing the table cost. So what they just do is I just stay out of it. I don't care. I don't look. I got to live every con dream I ever had. You know, I got to go to San Diego Comic Con with the real company and be hanging out with LaShawn and Dave Dorman and Joe Madureira and Jeff Matsuda for years. You know, people come over, get stuff. You know, I got to have my fun. Um, I don't go to a con, buy a table, and pretend. Like I started buying tables because it was at the time it was a better way to present your portfolio to people, to editors who'd walk around and look at the talent pool, than it would be to directly cold call or hit them up at the tables. So what they do is they walk around, see you, they just hand you their business card, right?
Uh,
But now they don't go anywhere near Artist Alley because it's a goddamn fucking swap meet, you know? All it does is piss them off. So um, there's no point to it. Like the reason why I go is just so people can, when they go, oh, you go to a con? I go, well, I go to this one. And for now, maybe the last con I ever go to. And you had to convince me to go for
oh yeah.
years, you know? I mean, what what I'm doing right here is what I used to go to con to do. Just sit and watch artists fucking draw and shit. So, to hang out, ask questions. There's this local Comic Con, the Treasure Valley Con. Some people are like, you should go to that. They could really. And I'm looking it up, and they're like, I guess they could give you some free space, but I have to submit an email explaining why I would be good for their show. And I'm like, I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be good. Don't care. Don't care. You know? Don't care at your stupid con.
You're fired. You can't fire me because I quit.
It wouldn't be very good for the show. If you don't love this, then you shouldn't do it. That was the other comment I got too, right? Yeah, I don't love this. I love the drawing. I just the fucking rat race that can be some days, you know?
Right.
Cons used to be my favorite thing. I'm very pessimistic about it because Comic Con was the one place I felt at home, you know? Where, you know, Star Trek people looked as weird as I knew they were, you know? Like the only people who cosplayed at Comic Con were Klingons. And you were like, yeah. And they're talking in Klingon. It's crazy. That's it. But it used to be a place I could go and meet artists and I felt at home. Now I go to a con and I just don't relate to a lot of it. Arizona Con's better, but there's just a lot of it I don't relate to. And it might just be this country. I wonder if I went to like a comic gathering in like France or Belgium or something, if I'd feel more at home, you know? Just don't relate to this market. There's some stuff I like, but I don't care about Saga, you know? I've tried reading it. I'm like, oh, it's about sex. Great. Wonderful. I don't care. Don't care. I got Game of Thrones, you know?
Well, Rob. I got nothing.
At least I'm being honest. I'm not saying it's shit. I'm saying it's not for me. I remember when the biggest thing at Comic Con back in 2002, 2 or 3, was when they released those He-Man figures. Remember they did the new Masters of the Universe cartoon? It looked like Battle Chasers.
Right.
And yeah, it totally did too. Like the He-Man sword was clearly the Battle Chaser sword. And fucking, I watched guys get into a fist fight waiting in line for those fucking things. It made some sense in that at least this was going to be worth something. The first con I ever went to in 1992 Comic Con, I watched 2 guys get into a fight over some old Transformers used toy, so it stepped up a little bit. But I just remember that was the con where things were really different. I couldn't get into panels, and I couldn't buy a Ninja Turtles toy. There just was a comic book. Couldn't buy one Turtles comic book. There weren't anything in the bins. Marvel was doing all that weird shit, Ultimate War, and like those weird Bill Jemas comics. Remember that Owl guy was like Batman? I don't know what the fuck they were doing. Weird time at Marvel.
Excuse me. Probably have to get off here in a couple minutes. I have to go in early since I'm taking a couple days off.
Yeah, you sound
Excuse
like you're ready for a trip. You're
It's just
nice and healthy.
just all the deliveries. I had 5 stops today out on the road, and it's all rich people, desert mountain houses. So all day I was just getting, and with the wind was bad, I was getting dust in my throat and nose all day. Drink a lot of water, so I'm not dehydrated. It just fucks with my throat. That sounds worse than I wanted it to, but I'll live with it. I'll own it.
Hot water. Dry oatmeal. Agua. Guacamole. That's how George Takei pronounces guacamole. Guacamole.
Yeah, using these multi-liners. I like the 0.3, but I keep switching through different ones just to practice. I mean, I'll
I
continue
don't
to
care
do
what
that.
you use as long as it looks the way I want it to look.
Fair enough. I like that.
You understand what I'm saying?
I don't like that brush. Fucking hate the brush.
It needs to look exactly the way I want it to look. That's all I care about.
Kyle, you ever come out to Phoenix Con?
answer is no. Yep, see, no.
What con did you get art from Billy Fowler? Fowler.
2 flowers.
Fowler. He's an artist I'd like to get art from.
Billy 2 flowers. Rincewind.
There's only a few artists I would like to get sketches from that I know I would never be able to get from. Joe Matt obviously being number one. I got a Jim Lee sketch. We know how that turned out. That fucking wonderful thing. Maybe like a Chris Pachalo back in Generation X1 days. Maybe Scotty Young, New Warriors days.
Oh, you mean go back in time?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd still probably get a sketch from it. It's just like, I don't know. You know what I mean. It's like, I'm still a fan, but I'm a fan of the older stuff. Who's the other one we were talking about the other day that... Oh, I almost got a sketch from Ramos at Amazing Vegas probably like 3 years ago, but I just didn't want to spend the $70 because I wasn't making much that day, and I was just like, I'm okay. But I probably should have got a Ramos sketch just because I've been such a fan. And if I did, I'd probably get an Alex Elder Crimson sketch. I got Fowler's stuff mailed to me. He did a couple San Diego Comic-Con specials where he celebrated not attending by taking mail commissions. That's the way to do it.
That's what I've been doing for years. Hey, I'm not going to Comic-Con. Let's do commissions. Online comic. I used to have Tom actually hold up his iPad.
I remember that.
The live streams.
Wasn't that the Penny for the Soul?
Yeah, I'd be doing commissions and working on the cover live from con.
I remember that. That's the one where you were sitting in the corner, right? At his table? Was that the one?
I wasn't at the con, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking
stream.
I was mixing the one where I bought the Raphael, I think, from you. The painted one you gave to me. Oh, that's right. You gave me the Raphael, I think, for $60 because you never made me that fucking Daredevil and Bullseye. I'm never going to get it.
We cleared on that.
I know. I'm just joking.
I don't have to do that. We good, dog. I don't like doing verses.
I didn't say it had to be a verse. I just wanted to.
I don't like doing verses. I can't resell verses. I can then sell individual characters, but verses is like some people don't like it. I don't really like it when he fights Punisher. You know that shit. That's why I don't do it. That's why I also don't take drawing Punisher in a Luke Skywalker Green Lantern armor.
Who would do some shit like that? You know, I saw, and I wonder if it's the same guy, but like right after that, Todd Knock did a, I can't remember, it was a mashup thing too. Same thing where it was like Green Goblin with Yellow Lantern or something, but I wonder if that guy was just doing Star Wars with lanterns or just mix-up of lanterns, because like right after that, Todd Knock posted a Green Goblin with a yellow ring. I was like, it's like the mermaid guy. He strikes everywhere.
And what do we tell him?
No.
Yep.
Rob won't let me.
I'm not taking any commissions. And then I'll take a commission from someone else right in front of him. Yeah, he was already on the list.
Why are you ignoring people, Kyle, in the chat room? What the hell? And I wouldn't mind, but I mean, like, I bought a couple art pieces from people who don't like drawing in sketchbooks, but it'd be nice if I can get some more in my sketchbook because I have so many pictures and frames, and now I have so many art pieces that I did, like you said, where I have a 11 by 17 portfolio. You could just flip through and see all the original art I bought, which is nice. I just wouldn't leave it on my coffee table, but it's nice to pull out and just look at all the different images I bought. Like the last two things that I got that I would frame, one I did was the Kevin Eastman print with a little sketch on it and sign, which was nice. And then the Jim Mahfood watercolor piece I bought, that was cool. He was super cool to meet. And he was one of the people on my bucket list to get original art from that I've always wanted. And, you know, I think he lives in New York, I believe. So it was nice when he was out here at a con, at a smaller con at Tucson. Well, it's getting bigger, but. Rob, have you ever been to MegaCon?
No, I'm not flying out anywhere. If I can't drive to it, I don't go to it. Unless they fly me out, which they won't.
All right.
They ain't flying out Eric Larson, they ain't flying me out.
Joey says, "Speak the truth and praise be to Rob."
They won't fly fucking Eric Larson out. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's ridiculous. But I get it, you know? Why would you fly out one of the founders of Image Comics? Fuck it, right?
True.
Get that guy who
Oh,
plays Ghost Rider. He's way more important.
real quick, you know I'm cutting you off here. And I don't know if I don't think you know this, right? But I have an opinion on it anyways. Ash says Stanley is coming to Amazing Vegas Con this year, which he is. I don't know if I told you that, but Stanley will be there at the con, which is nice. Which Ash says, hoping that'll drive up the attendance. Well, two things. One, it will drive up the attendance because everybody's going to want to meet Stan Lee. Two, though, people that buy actual art are usually the people who spend a lot of money on meeting people like Stan Lee and getting his signatures, and then they walk around the tables later and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I spent all my money on meeting Stan Lee or bigger names, Kevin Eastman, Capullo, things like that." So it's good and bad. Amazing Arizona had Stanley at one of their cons a couple of years ago, and it probably racked up a couple thousand more people. So as long as they promote it right. I mean, I don't know how they're promoting it out there in Vegas. Would you like to meet Stanley, Rob?
I already have.
Oh.
I ran right into him. 1993, 94, San Diego Comic Con.
Like literally bumped into him?
Yeah, in the DC booth. It was great. So like I was walking through and DC had just finally got this new booth up because their booths were really just these tables. They had these big banners. And I was looking around. Oh, it's amazing. I pulled him right into him. I was like, what the? What? Hey! You know, it's Stan Lee. He's like, hey, how you doing?
Did he go Excelsior?
I shook his hand. He's like, all right, I gotta go. I'm like, hey, go get him, Stan. You know, like that was it. Like, I think I said Mallrats. Mallrats. Like, it's the last time but I know what he feels like. How many people can say that? Frail, man. It's pretty frail.
right? The wind would pick them up.
Mhm. I just remember when Stan made that media company and was doing all those cheap direct-to-DVD movies, animated flicks, and they did one called Stan Lee's Mosaic. And the guy who was writing that book, Mosaic, was all bummed out. Hey, they beat us to the name Mosaic. And I'm like, I really wouldn't worry about this one, Adam. You know, I don't think you have to worry about Stan Lee's Mosaic causing us any problems. You can't trademark the term Mosaic. Go look up how many books are named Legion.
All right, I need to shower and get ready for tomorrow's busy day. Hit you up tomorrow during the day, or
Sure.
do you want me to call you at like 12, 1 o'clock?
I don't get up till around 2.
Dude, I know. I'm kidding. About earlier, remember?
Yeah, not a good idea. All right,
All
later.
right. Thanks for listening to me, everybody, and all my breathing and chair cracking. I posted a video tonight, so that's up. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, later.
Later, everyone.
Yeah, they're never going to spend money on billboards. It's just the way it is. Good night, Kyle. Good night, Kyle. No, that was clearly Kyle. That was Kyle from the block. I'm not glad at you. It's gonna just any excuse to razz Kyle. Hey, what's up, Sam? Good to hear. Good to hear. It's Final Fantasy 9. All right, but I gotta take a 10-minute break. We're at the 2 hour mark, so I need to stretch my legs here, and then I'll work on this for about another 90 minutes, 2 hours. Try to wrap it up, but we'll see. So give me about 10 minutes. All right. Hey, what's up, Kira? Hey, what's up, Pillhead? Wrestling. Wrestling. I was looking up that Bret Hart Simpsons Nika figure. They want $70. No fucking way. Yeah, I know. I'm good. Just working. Just trying to wrap the pencils up on this so I can move to coloring and get this section done and move on to X-Men. Yeah, they did. Nika made one. I saw Brett showing it off on his Instagram channel. So I was like, oh, I wonder how much was it. That'd be kind of cool. You know, 70 fucking dollars. I don't know about that. I like old school wrestling. And there's that guerrilla wrestling that's out in LA I thought was pretty cool. Modern wrestling, not so much. I just can't get into it. Storylines and that stuff, you know. I don't think it's bad. It's just not my era, I guess. But I'd say I'd watch consistently from the early 80s on up through 98 around the hit job, the screw job, and then anytime The Rock showed up during the Attitude Era, I'd watch that. Yeah, you can ask me a technical question, sure. Yeah, PWG. I thought that stuff was pretty cool. I know, right? Oh shit, the copyright infringement. No, man, just sell until you get a DMCA, which you won't get, so don't worry about it. You know, just stay. Don't worry about legal stuff, man. You know, it's an age-old question, and I can't get into the specifics because then people start quoting me. But let me just explain something. Having worked on licensed T-shirts, um, we couldn't ever use the fan art, right, on T-shirts because you know why? The people who made the art hold the copyright of the art. You don't hold the copyright of the characters. You hold the copyright to your art. So if I took your fan art and I have Batman license and I take your Batman fan art, put it on a T-shirt, you can sue me for using your art. But no company's going to have that discussion. So, you know, don't worry about like selling prints at con. Just sell stuff so people can like. It's like this, dude. Like people go to cons to get a souvenir, right? And so they're going to get a souvenir of something that they know. That's just the way it works now. When I was a kid, Artist Alley was more about pros being in the Artist Alley, and then you go and meet the pro, and they'd usually be working on their freelance. They didn't have shit to sell. Maybe you'd buy a commission. Somewhere around 2006 or 7 or 8, somewhere around the X-Men, Spider-Man 2, early Marvel, Iron Man era, it turned into like going to con and you want to get something that you know. So people had prints, right? Pros would have prints of their cover art, and then some people would show up and they do, their own fan art, and it really wasn't a big deal. The problem is, cons have sort of allowed Artist Alley to turn into a giant swap meet, right? Where you have millions of print everywhere. Like you could have the prints, but the problem is the way they display them. It just makes it look really bad. It makes it look really bad, you know. So, and then what they do is make artists feel bad. Like, so you're feeling bad for selling something. Like you might be breaking the law, right? You're not breaking any laws. Um, Marvel could run around and say, take down your art, which is great, but, like, it's just, no one's going to draw their shit. The thing is they're charging you money for that table, right? That convention is charging you money for that table. How are you supposed to make your money back? No one knows who you are, you know? So you're selling some prints to usually just to cover the cost of even going, and so these conventions are making their money off all those other prints. They made their money. That's how they got paid, right? So this is This really could be solved with just display regulations. There used to be regulations in RSL. You could only have a banner so tall, one banner behind you, and a little place on your thing, on your table. So if you had just a portfolio people could look through and you pulled out prints and handed them out, no one would care. But they stopped enforcing those rules, and now it just turns into this fucking wall of prints everywhere. I try to display mostly my commission art or my publish art when I go. And then I have prints for sale, but I don't do the wall of prints like a giant t-shirt, like the t-shirt booth you go to, and it's just like every t-shirt's on the wall. Artists turn their things into that. And then they'll usually find some copyright enforcement lawyer to come in and do a thing, and then all the fan artists come in there and he warns them that they're going to sue them and run them out of town. And it's just never going to fucking happen. You know? What's crazy is the pros that sell copies of the artwork that they published, they go, well, we can sell that because that's our art. I'm like, you don't own that. You were paid for that. You actually signed a contract. So technically, those people could be in more trouble than you if Marvel wanted to do anything about it. So it's a whole thing. Just don't feel bad. I just feel bad for artists here when they just start trying to tell. You ever you want to see something funny? If you go look at Comic Con the year Force Awakens was coming out, J.J. Abrams was there, right, promoting Star Wars, and someone asked him during the Q&A about developing IP or some shit and he was like, IP, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And just there's this element of Comic Con that turned into legality, like everyone to have legal discussions. And it's like they don't own the art you made. It's that simple. you know. And you're not selling them in quantities that's going to matter to them. I've received DMCAs from Marvel, and I've replied to them and, got around it. The problem I had is then they went and complained. Marvel Legal is not Marvel proper. Marvel has a whole legal department. So Marvel Legal then went and found my employers and got me fired. So, because they threatened to withdraw the license from that company if I was employed there. So, I'm one of the few people that's actually suffered consequences from this. And legally, they couldn't do shit to me. But what they could do is go after my employer. So, I got dragged into a room and interrogated over my fan art. Yeah, that happened. That's why I'm here working on this stuff now. Oh, that's what they did, Joey. Shit you not. And that took a year off. I found another company. I got an offer to, so I went there. Marvel found out again that I worked for that company and threatened them too. So they let me go. So basically, I can't work for any company that has a Marvel license. And guess what every t-shirt company has? They all have Marvel licenses. I'm out of career now. Can't wait till they're out of t-shirt sales because, retail hasn't exactly gone up. So the best part is after that they started putting a bunch of saucy watercolor stuff in their style guides. That was fun. Basically, I'm blacklisted, yeah. Over fan art. And all I was doing was trying to raise money to go to a con because the con was going to cost me $600. And I wasn't really making enough money living in California to afford a $600 hit. So I was just trying to raise It was actually $500 to go. And so I lost my whole thing over that. Yeah, tell me about it. So don't worry about it, bro. You know what I mean? They're not gonna fucking come after you. You know, a con can say, "We don't want any fan art in Artist Alley," and then no one will go to Artist Alley. You know. And in that case, when they do, here's my advice: take your idea for Spider-Man. Say you want to do Spider-Man. Um, take your idea for Spider-Man, and then just do a female hot version. You know, and call it parody. Do a robot version. Call it parody. So when they go that route, just turn everything into robots and busty chicks or samurai versions, you know? And it'll be fine. Just call them uncanny bots. It's so uncanny. Yeah, no problem. I don't mind. If I sound annoyed, I'm not annoyed at the question. Just I get passionate about companies that go after artists, you know? If you want to see how Marvel treats their talent, go watch the Image Revolution documentary. Nothing's changed. Marvel's the cheapest there is. They don't even give free comics out to the people making movies. Like Sony, they have to go buy their own comics. Yeah, they don't transform, they evolve. To start mashing things up, you know? And don't put the trademarkable icons on there, and they can't do shit. Yeah, fuck Marvel. I got to get one of those old Marvel shirts from Kitchen Sink Press. You can see it in Chasing Amy. It's the Marvel can suck my, and you could fill in the blank, you know. Their movie department is different. There's different companies within Marvel, but the Perlmutter Comics slash legal division at the New York office, fuck them, you know. I will never purchase a Marvel comic ever again. Yeah. Sucks because I saw John Boy's Royals and I would really like to, but can't do it, man. You know. You don't see Kevin Feige shutting down the Wolverine versus Wonder Woman fan film, do you? Right? You don't see that stuff. So I told you, it's just different sections of that company. Yeah, Batman. Because it's parody. That's why. And fan art really is parody. Like when you think about it, it's not anything that they're really going to produce. You know, it's so ridiculous, and it doesn't do anything. I always felt like that these companies should get behind it. Like they should put out a Marvel, like a comic every summer, dude, for like these different cons, and then you can go at the con and fuck you submit your art. If you're going to be at the con, you could submit your art, and then you can get the book signed. You buy the book from them, and then you go and get it signed by the guys that are selling prints. You know, but they don't want to do any of that shit. They don't give a fuck. You know, they're very old school, man. They don't care. That puts them at a worse position when they're partnered. You know, to be honest, because licenses have to be renewed, and there's rules that come with it. They're just a dick company. I got no love for them. As I say that as I'm about to go draw some X-Men stuff, you know. Anytime I draw anything Marvel, I just expect trouble. You know, you want to go read a great, you're probably still buried somewhere, but go look at Sean Gordon Murphy's DeviantArt channel. Go look at his journals. It was years ago. I remember this. He did a sketchbook for Con called the ABCs of Wolverine. He maybe made 100 of them, and he gave them to friends. And they ended up on a Marvel editor's desk, and Marvel's legal team had to get involved with him and threatened to sue him and all sorts of shit. And they demanded he had to get legal representation by DC, and DC got involved and they were like basically they were like, well, we own the trademark and the artwork, and he's like, no, you don't own my fucking art. You know, they finally let it go. So it's just they're just a real shitty company. You know, I mean, they obviously don't care what fans think. I mean, you've seen the recent Hydra stuff. You know, they don't care. You know. This is Final Fantasy IX. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's a double wide piece, so it'll go all the way across. Camera's zoomed in right now, but you get the idea. So that being said, we got some Marvel art coming up. I'll probably be drawing that one digitally, just because of the amount of characters involved. Nothing, just working. All right, later, dude. Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow. Night. Later, dude. Mm-hmm. So I got one last part here I gotta work out. Alrighty, it's 2:11. So this is gonna run me into tomorrow night. So we'll wrap this up tomorrow night. I gotta finish this up and get some of these little background elements done. And then that'll be that. So the pencils will be done tomorrow night. I'll be back on. I gotta take this tape off this fucking thing too. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here, and then I'll be back on in a few minutes, and we're gonna wrap up that. We're gonna wrap up this cover. I got a big transformer to draw, so be back on in a few. Peace, everybody.